The next part of this process is failing. That you will fail, you have to fail. That is part of the process. That's what's going to happen next, is that you are going to fail, which sucks. I hate saying this. Like, I don't like failing. I don't like feeling like crap. I don't like embarrassing myself. I don't like making mistakes, but this is part of the process and we all have to go through this. We are all going to go through this. If you don't know by now, I make videos to help people who want to improve themselves, to help people who want to become the best version of themselves. So I give my own advice based off the things that I've learned, based off the books that I've read and the people that I've spoken to and all my experiences and all the wisdom that I have or that I think I have, right? I give advice based off that to young men specifically on how to improve their life and become better. These series of episodes are going to be my advice to people who want to improve their life, people who are on their self-improvement journey. This is my advice for you. So the first episode to this series was that you need to start. That's why I said you started. Good job. That's amazing. That's a risk you took. And I applaud you for that, because that's a big step that you just took, that you took the first step. You don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start in order to be great eventually. You're going to be great eventually, but in the beginning, you're not. Now that brings me to episode 2, which is failure. The reason why it's episode 2, the reason why it's right after the first one, is because you might have been watching my content or someone else's content and you're motivated, you're ready. You're like, you know what, money, you're right. Let's go. Let's get this money. Let's start. Let's improve myself. Let's go hit the gym. Cool. But what we need to understand, what I myself need to understand as well, and we all need to understand, I again, this advice is for me as well. I follow my own advice, is that you will fail. Failure is part of the process. The next thing most likely that's going to happen after you start on your self-improvement journey is that you will fail. It sucks. I don't like admitting that, but it's true. Like, you will fail, because you're not going to start something and be good at it. You're just going to suck. You're going to be so bad at it. I don't think people understand this enough. I didn't even understand this enough. For my example, I want to become a top YouTuber. So episode 1, I started a couple months ago. I took the risk, but I was never good at it. I don't know how to do any of these things. I don't know how to edit. I don't know how to speak to people. I don't know how to influence people, but I'm learning. I will get better. But you don't think in the beginning I made a couple mistakes? You don't think in the beginning I felt like a failure? You don't think I felt like quitting? The thought of quitting came? Of course it did. Millions of times. Millions of times it comes. But that is part of the process. I'm realizing that now. I can't start something and be great at it. So I have to understand that the next thing that's going to happen, most likely, is that I will fail. I have to fail. I know so many people, for example, they want to open up like this clothing brand. They start their own clothing brand, this business, right? And they think that they're going to be amazing when they start. The second they taste a little bit of failure, they're like, this sucks, I'm out. That's the next thing that's going to happen. You started, you're ready, you're happy, but it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. The next thing that's going to happen is that you're going to fail. Whether it's going to happen, it might happen tomorrow, it might happen next week, it might happen next month. Something is going to go wrong. Something is not going to work out the way you expected it to. You might make a mistake, you might fail. Like, it is bound to happen. We need to understand why failure is part of the process. The first thing that I tell myself, and then I tell others as well, is that the thing that I'm afraid of might actually be good for me. The thing that I fear might actually be good for me. In my example, my goal, everyone has their own goal. My goal is to become this top YouTuber. But when I started, my biggest fear was that, what are people going to say about me? What if people make fun of me? What if I embarrass myself? What if like, instead of actually influencing people's lives, people are just looking at me like I'm a clown, like I'm a fool? That was a big fear of mine, just being real with y'all, right? That was a fear before I started, and in the first couple of weeks of me starting, that was a fear as well. Obviously, it's stupid to fear that, because now I'm able to understand that, okay, that was all in my head, which I'm going to bring up later in this video. But despite how stupid it was a fear of mine. And now I'm realizing that, let's say that did happen. First of all, it really hasn't. Like, people are actually supporting me and they're giving me good feedback, which is amazing. But if that were to happen, maybe it's good for me. Maybe if someone did make fun of me, it would actually help me. Like, fun of me, like meaning in like criticism. Like, if I actually got criticism, like good criticism, it would actually help me. If someone gave me like positive criticism, it would probably help me. It would suck for me to sit there and hear it and humble myself and be like, you know what, you're right. Maybe the thing that I was fearing this whole time is actually good for me. Maybe it's supposed to happen. Sometimes it's supposed to happen. Another example is my friend who wants to make music. And he was like, what if my views aren't as high as I thought they would be? Or what if the music doesn't do as good as I thought it would? Well, sometimes that's supposed to happen, because you make so many mistakes and things go so bad. You're like, you know what? I'm pissed off now, and I'm going to make the best music I can ever make. Or I'm going to make the best business I can ever make. I'm going to bust my ass in a way that I never did. Sometimes you need that drive. Sometimes you need that fire, that energy for you to be like, you know what? No, like you guys think that I'm not doing this correctly. I'm about to show you how good I am. Sometimes God wants you to be that person who's like, you know what, screw all of this. I'm gonna do the best that I can. And the reason it might actually end up being good for you is because you make a mistake, you learn what not to do, and now you know what to do. And the only reason this is actually going to be good for you is if you actually learn from the mistake. If you just take the mistake or you take the L and you just quit, you start this clothing brand and things don't go the way you expected, and now you just quit. You just delete everything. You're like, you know what? That's not even a part of me anymore. I don't even want to try it. I don't even care. Well, then you're never going to get anywhere. If you actually learn from the mistakes, you're like, okay, I was promoting this, but that promotion tactic didn't work. Let me try another way. My designs aren't the best, so I'm going to try working on different designs, or I'm a hire designer because the way I'm designing sucks apparently, and it's not really making me money. But instead of quitting, I'm just going to find another option, find another way. That's the type of mindset you need to have, that whatever I fear is actually going to end up being good for me. But the reason it's going to end up being good for me is because the mistakes that I make, I will learn from them. Now I know what not to do in order to know what to do. Now I know the correct way. Now I know the secrets. How do I become successful in this industry? There are secrets to that. There are things that people know that you don't know. You will find that out as well. The way you find them out is by finding out what not to do, by feeling like a failure, by feeling like a piece of crap, by hating the situation you're in. You're going to realize, okay, this didn't work. Now I got to change things up and try this way. And then you're going to be like, well, this way works now. So the only reason good things are going to come from it is because you learn from your mistakes. Sometimes it's such a big blessing. Like, I'm so grateful for the L's that I took in my past, because now I know what to do. Now I know how to live my life. Now I know what I want in my life and the things that matter to me and my priorities. I wouldn't know that if I didn't mess up a couple of times. I wouldn't know that if I didn't take a couple L's, a lot of L's actually. Now you understand, and I understand myself as well, that okay, sometimes failure is actually good for you, right? It might actually help you, because if you don't quit and you stick with it, you might actually learn what's the correct way of getting things done. But what we need to understand is that 99% of all of our fears and all of our worries are in our head. So the things that you fear, the things that you think are going to come true, they might not even come true. Like I just talked about how you taking an L and you being made fun of, like me being made fun of, is actually good for me. Well, it didn't even happen. Like, I'm just saying, if it ever were to happen, it might be good for me. Like, sometimes it's actually needed for you to become better. But it didn't even happen. No one's actually made fun of me yet. People have given me criticism, like in the comments, but they're never mean. They were just telling me what they think, and I take it in such a logical way. Like, okay, I get what you're saying, but I can't follow your advice because of this, this, and this, and then I move on. It doesn't even hurt me. It doesn't affect me. But in my head, I feared it so much. I was like, damn, what if someone gives me like a comment, or what if someone says something bad? Like, damn, this is going to suck. What if someone out there like doesn't like my content, or someone's making fun of me? Like, it's going to hurt. If it did happen, I know that it's actually good for me. But 99% of the time, all those things are all in my head. Those things that I fear, they're all in my head. Meaning that the thing that you fear the most might not even happen. Like, you won't even see it. If you start a business and you fear that you're going to go broke, you might actually ever go broke. Like, honestly, if you were to go broke, it might have been good for you. It's sometimes it's good for you to go broke. But I mean, most likely you might not even go broke. Like, who knows? Like, you start a business and you think that no one's going to buy anything that you want to sell. People might actually buy. And you're never going to be in the situation that you thought you're going to be in. Like, if you have this pessimistic attitude, those things might not ever happen. No one might ever make fun of you. Like my friend who wants to make music, the songs aren't going to do as well. They might actually do good. The things that he's fearing might not actually come true. You don't know. You won't know until you try. But keep that in mind, that 99% of the things that you fear are not even going to come true in the first place. They're all in your head. And that's true. Like, the things that you fear, they might not even come true. So why are you fearing them in the first place? Why are you so fearful? Why are you so scared? Don't let that stop you. That's why in the last video it was all about starting, because you can't let the fear stop you. But now it's the fear of failing. The fear of failing is what stops you from starting. If you're watching this and you haven't even started, well, now you know that it's the fear of failure that's stopping you from starting. And you need to understand, just like I understood, just like I want everyone else to understand, that most of our problems are going to be in our head. Most of our worries and our fears are going to be in our head. And that the things that you fear the most might not actually even come true. So stop tripping and get to it. And one last thing that I want to say about failure, or just this whole journey, this whole self-improvement journey, because this series is just my advice on people who want to improve their lives. One thing that I learned this past week, I just want to share with you real quick. This journey, this self-improvement journey, is tougher and longer than you expect. It is. It's like, it's like the same thing. People say life is a marathon, it's not a sprint. That's so true. This journey is tougher and longer than you expected. The reason I bring this up in this video is because you might take a L and now you have to improve yourself and become better. And when I tell you this, just like when I told myself this, when I told my other friend this, you start to realize that, okay, that's actually going to take some time. Like the gym. You want to go to the gym, you want to make a nice body, like you want to build the body that you want to build. It's actually going to take some time. It's actually going to take 6 months, maybe a year, maybe even longer. This business is going to take longer. This channel is going to take longer to pop off, longer than I thought. So this journey, this whole self-improvement journey, is going to take longer than you thought. And it's going to be tougher than you thought. You're going to take some L's that you didn't think you would take. You're going to make mistakes that you never thought you would ever make. The reality of the situation is that this whole journey is tougher and longer than you think. That doesn't mean it's not going to work out. That doesn't mean you're not going to become successful. But the reason why people quit is because they realize this. I'm starting to realize this as well. Last week, I realized this when I was talking to my friend. I'm like, damn, like this whole journey is tougher and longer than I think. Realistically, you won't get anywhere in 6 months. I know one of the videos on my channel is create a better life for yourself in 6 months, is because in 6 months, you're going to build that habit to stay disciplined. But the real result is going to come probably after 3 years, which sucks to say. I don't like saying that. I feel like I'm a very impatient person, but I have to practice patience in this situation, on this journey. I have to practice patience, and I have to understand, we all have to understand that this is longer. This is going to take longer than we think. This is going to be tougher than we think. You can't just become successful overnight. And honestly, I don't even want to become successful overnight. I don't even want to become a millionaire overnight. I want to know that I worked hard and that the person that I wanted to become on the journey, I became that. And the results are going to come based off whatever God thinks is best for me. But at least I took part in this journey and I tried to become the best version of myself, and I put in the work. If I die, I know I died trying. If you haven't yet watched the last video in this series, which is me telling you why you need to start your self-improvement journey and how important it is for you to start. If you've been watching this, I appreciate it, and good luck to everyone.